Hi friends, welcome to part 2 of how I made this flute wall. This looks so beautiful, isn't it? Yes. Okay, so yesterday we left off with where we installed our plus sign. Now we have to install our flute panels. So flute panels, I was able to cut like 4 or 5 flute panels that is going in between the plus signs and the baseboard. But the ones that is going between the plus sign and top of the ceiling is different. So I have to make cuts for each of the ceiling and make the measurements. So that was tedious, but anyway, at least something was making my life easier. Now I'm just measuring the distance between the top and from the bottom to the light switches so that I can replicate the same thing on my panel so that I can cut the exact part for the light switches. I first measured all the light switches and the outlets that goes on the panel and marked it on the panel, and then I made all the cuts using the jigsaw at once. I also put an X marker where we have to actually make the cut. Pro tip for jigsaw is basically when you're doing a vertical cut, it will be very difficult. So what we have to do is I drilled a hole in between, which is the size of the blade. So when I have to do a vertical cut, it will help me hold the blade in that hole, and then I can make the cut smoothly. If you want to see the actual jigsaw cut, how long it takes, this is how much long it took. Now it is 10x. You can see how the swing is moving so fast. So yeah, it is sped up to 10x times. Jigsaw was easy to cut actually than whatever I anticipated. It just takes time, that's all. And this is perfect. I could just fit the light switches perfectly. Now I'm measuring and making an outline for the TV so that I can actually fit in these sconces, and also I have to fit in the floating shelf. Now I'm marking the studs on the wall so that I can fix the floating shelf on the stud. I'll also make a separate video detailing how I made this floating shelf and everything related to that, but I just don't want to take over this video with the floating shelf installation. Once the floating shelf is on, I started off with the placements for the sconces on both sides of the TV and started installing it. Now that we have all the nooks and small pieces that goes on the wall already installed, it will be easy for me to actually make the cuts wherever it is required appropriately on the flute panel. While I was installing the sconces and the floating shelf, Raju was actually sanding the panels that I have cut for the placement between the plus sign and the ceiling. It was a delicate thing. I also mentioned that it was different for each of the positions, so we have marked it with numbers. So once he standed, he just handed it over to me. According to the number they have put in back, so I can just nail it down to the wall. Okay, that's it for part 2 today, and come back tomorrow for part 3 where I finish up the rest of the flute panel installation. If you like the video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and then subscribe. Bye bye, loves.